features with Livingston and Tangella too, and our host Vincent Landau, and he brings it to you. Creature features and all creatures and all features. And the creature gonna get you tonight. You better not turn out your bedroom light. He'll grab your head and give it such a bite. You may even die just from a fright. You ain't nothing gonna be, baby. You ain't nothing gonna be alright. Cause the creature gonna get you, baby. Gonna get you tonight.
Guess what's for dinner tonight, friends at home? The Screaming Skull. The Screaming Skull. The Screaming Skull.
I believe she has bitten off far more than she can chew.
It would appear so, old bean. Welcome to Creature Features. A discriminating bloke on the left portion of your television screen would be my diligent houseman, Mr. Livingston, and the freakishly strong and silent type on this side, who may be in need of chiropractic therapy after her latest stunt, would be my wonderfully wistful waif Tangella. And I, dear friends at home, am your valiantly vain Viscount of Horror, Vincent Van Dole. Have we a fantabulous show in store for you and you and you? First up, we'll be watching 1958's The Screaming Skull. Unlike most of the shameful tripe we regurgitate upon our viewers each weekend, I actually like this film. The story revolves around a chap with a really nice motor car and his newlywed and unusually nervous wife as she moves into his family estate. Strange things are afoot that coincidentally involve screaming and skulls.
One would have never guessed.
And joining us for this monochromatic murder movie will be our old friend Jon Provost. If you watched the Lassie show from old, you might remember him. He portrayed Timmy. I have no idea who portrayed Lassie, but I think it was a dog. He'll tell us all about the glory days of Hollywood, what it was like working side by side with a canine thespian for 7 years, and he'll also tell us about all the wonderful things he's been up to since we saw him last. And he might even have a surprise or two. So don't go away, because it's going to be another night of skull-laden Timmys in the well fright, right here on Creature Features. Oh no, that's much more your size. Stay tuned.
Portions of this program are brought to you by Micromat, making products that keep your Macintosh running at its best.
It's that time of the week, your favorite time of the week, my favorite time of the week, and Jon Provost's favorite time of the week. He's back with us again, Timmy from Lassie. But
hey, thank you.
He's grown up since then, so we're not going to talk too much about Lassie. We're going to talk about what the grown-up Jon Provost has done, right?
Sounds good to me.
And we're going to watch this movie, Screaming Skull.
I heard it's great.
You know what I like most about this film is the car that this man drives. And it's completely inappropriate for the film.
Okay.
It's almost as if one of the people who funded the movie said, "Oh, you need a car? You should take my special custom-made Mercedes." I think it's Mercedes. And
I've got to see it.
It's an incredible
I'm
car. It looks like a
now.
McLaren or something.
Wow.
Right. I never even had a car.
Sounds
that nice.
exciting.
And here's a bloke who's just got married. You know, that's not a married man's car.
Well, then, yeah, when he has children, it's gone. Then it's a station wagon.
No, once he has a wife, it's gone. That becomes her car at that point, right?
Right.
She's driving him if he's lucky.
Well, then he gets a pickup truck.
Right. Well, pickup trucks are good.
Like for the farm.
I just recently purchased a pickup truck. We've got a manure issue here. And it's because of Tangella and all her goats. Now we've got to shovel it away, or else the place smells like a slop farm. All right, we'll talk about that stuff later. We're going to start the film. You're going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. You're going to watch it because we're kind of forcing you to, unless you change the channel, which we don't want you to do. So you guys stay with us. We'll be right back after the next break.
The Screaming Skull is a motion picture that reaches its climax in shocking horror. Its impact is so terrifying that it may have an unforeseen effect. It may kill you. Therefore, its producers feel they must assure free burial services to anyone who dies of fright while seeing The Screaming Skull.
Welcome, Mrs. Whitlock.
It's lovely, Harry.
You look disappointed for a moment.
I did not. It's really lovely. Oh, look. I bet that's the den there.
That's right.
Is that a bedroom?
Yes, it is.
Gonna be ours?
You'll need some fixing first.
Or it's her room, wasn't it?
Yes. Come on along. I'll share the rest of the house. It's rather forbidding now, I suppose. Empty like this. But it was usually this way. Shortly after Marion and I were married, she removed all the furniture her parents had left her. This is our home, she used to say, and we must choose everything carefully. Well, we didn't get very far before she died. But now that you're here, it's going to be lovely again. I'll get the things out of storage tomorrow. They're all in town at the warehouse. And I'll take care of that, too.
You have candles?
Sure.
It'll be twice as romantic.
Speaking of being romantic. I got to carry you over the threshold.
I love you. I love you.
Jenny, I thought life had died out for me.
What's that up there?
Oh, that's where Mickey keeps his gardening things.
Who's Mickey?
The gardener. He's kept it up the 2 years I've been away.
By himself?
That's right.
Must work awfully hard.
Oh, he and Marion would spend hours on end working here in the gardens and up in the greenhouse back there. See, he loved her very much. Sometimes I used to wonder who she was, my wife or Mickey's nursemaid. You know, I don't think he quite believes she's gone. I think he expects her to show up one of these mornings and scold her for neglecting the gardens.
You still love her, don't you? No, I'm not jealous. I'm grateful to her. I think to have loved once, really loved, to learn how to love always. Learning it from her, you give again to me. I wish there was some way to thank her. Who's that?
I don't know. They're driving around the back. Come on along.
Eric!
I see Eric.
Please stop by to meet your new wife.
Oh, Eric, this is a wonderful surprise.
It's been a long time.
It has.
Reverend,
Good to see you, Eric.
Jenny, this is Mrs. Snow.
I'm very happy to meet you. Jenny, this is a lovely surprise.
And the Reverend Mr. Snow.
Hello, my dear.
Oh, she's sweet, Eric.
I know.
I happened to be going into town. I ran into Mr. Mauer. He told me you were getting back today.
And we thought we'd just drop by and bring you something for your dinner.
Oh, nice.
And it'll save you all the bother of shopping while you're trying to get settled.
Then why don't you stay for dinner?
Oh, no, not
Oh,
tonight.
no, we wouldn't think of that.
Oh, now, please say
I'd
yes.
like for you to.
It would be like old times.
All right, on the condition that I do the cooking.
You don't have to.
You know, I know that, but I'd love to.
Well, there's Mickey. Excuse me, honey. Mickey!
Ah, poor Mickey. He keeps this place up like a shrine.
Eric told me how he loved Marion.
Mickey's father was a gardener here when Marion's mother was alive. Mickey and Marion grew up together here.
Jenny, this is Mickey.
How do you do, Mickey? I hope we'll be good friends.
Well, Mickey,
Thank you, Mickey.
well, shall we all go inside?
It's a good idea. Mickey, remember you promised me some of those rose cuttings.
Nice seeing you again, Mickey. I'm going to have to get you down to the barber shop one day very soon.
Excuse us, Mickey.
Promotions of Creature Features are brought to you by the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. Explore the mystery at winchestermysteryhouse.com.
From darkest Transylvania and the deepest reaches of outer space comes Creatures Con, the Bay Area's classic horror convention. Sunday, August 9th at the Crown Plaza, Concord. You'll see a 30th anniversary Twin Peaks reunion, a screening of Spider Baby with star of the film Beverly Washburn, Vincent, Livingston, and Tangella from Creature Features, Mr. Lobo from Cinema Insomnia, and more. It's all at Creatures Con, Sunday, August 9th at the Crown Plaza, Concord. For tickets and info, go to creaturescon.com.
Welcome back to the show. The movie is The Screaming Skull, and the guest is Jon Provost. Thank you. The illustrious Jon Provost. You know, I want to talk about you, but first, this film, the warning at the beginning.
Yeah,
what is up with this?
What about that? Okay, you die, like a movie's going to kill me, right? So I die.
You have
I get a
heart
free
attack.
yeah, but get a free burial.
Right.
I want my money. Do I get my money back for the ticket?
I assume that the burial is
And the
worth
popcorn?
more than the ticket. So
Yeah, but it's the principle of
it's
the
not
thing.
like you can use the ticket now. You're dead.
I could give it.
There's a bit of logic to it. It's
Anyway,
stupid logic.
it was just the principle.
I know.
But,
All right, so we saw the car, and Livingston has identified the car. He says it's a mid-50s Mercedes-Benz SL Gullwing.
Very, very nice car.
You know,
very
I
nice car.
looked at one of those on eBay, and it's worth like millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, if you had one.
I bet
if
he
you could
didn't.
get one.
I bet he didn't pay millions back in 1958.
But I bet he paid a pretty penny for it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about you. So, what's new and exciting?
Well, you know, coming up here and visiting this area is really, really gorgeous up here.
This area being Bodega Bay.
Yes,
Right.
up here on the coast. And decided to maybe purchase a little place here, you know, to come and visit.
A little place.
you know, well-
I heard you purchased the Miller Mansion.
Now it's out.
It's a small mansion. It's you know,
Well,
I tried
yeah.
to find a small mansion, and they're difficult to find.
This is true, but mainly I bought the name Miller,
Right,
you know, so it just fit.
right. Well,
Yeah.
so this is going to be like a summer home, right? Or like a vacation
A
weekend?
vacation place to come and,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, to
So-
get out of the city.
Because you currently
come up
have
here.
your home in Santa Rosa, your main residence.
But it's a big city now. When I moved up here, it was small. It was a country.
Right.
But now it's a big city, and so to get away on weekends or you know for
So-
a little vacation.
You'll technically be our neighbor now.
Yes.
That's all
and I
right.
hope good fences make good neighbors.
Well, no,
Somebody said that one time.
There's enough distance. I mean, I think there's one property between us. So.
Okay. Just just let us know
So-
if you're coming to visit. Please.
So you like Bodega Bay? You
Yeah.
like the restaurants? What's your favorite
yeah.
restaurant?
How about down on the wharf?
There's two.
Yes.
Nick's Cove, and the other one is called. It's going to come back to me.
What's that one?
It's a seafood grotto type. place.
Yes.
I like them both.
But just the fresh. I love fresh Dungeness crab.
Oh, of course.
Can't wait. Go down and buy
And
it
it's
from the
crab
boat.
season right now.
And
it's almost
great.
free.
Yeah. Well,
it's
it's not
not
free,
free.
but it's a lot less expensive here than it is.
So
in the
I've got some advice. Don't try to go to these restaurants on the weekends, because they're full
This
of
is true.
tourists.
Yes.
It's like a long line of tourists, and you can't go. Go on a Monday night, especially during football season. It's the best time to go. You
This
just
is
get
true.
seated right away.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Whenever sports games on, go.
Right, exactly. Right. All right, we're going to get back to the film, but when we come back, you're going to tell us what you're up to professionally, right?
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right,
Thank
off
you.
we go. Back to the Screaming Skull. You guys stay with us.
All right, that's done.
Oh, now please be careful. Oh, Edward, now don't break your neck.
You're doing great, Reverend. Don't worry.
Good heavens. Honestly, the two of them are just like children.
Well, that doesn't look too bad, Eric.
Jenny, I hope you have more luck in getting your husband to mine than I've had with mine.
You know, you've got to admit it does make the room look better.
Very well, Tarzan. For penance, you can come and help me with dinner. Now, come on. Edward, you keep Jenny company?
Yes, dear.
No, Mary, no. Send them away.
Huh?
No. Oh, she's so very nice, Eric.
Jenny?
Yes.
Isn't she wonderful?
Yes, she's not at all like Marion, and I think that's for the best. You know, so many men, when they lose a wife, they try so hard to deny the loss they marry someone exactly like the first wife. It hardly seems fair using the living to bring back the dead, does it?
No, I suppose it doesn't.
We make a prison for ourselves out of the past, at least our sentimental, wished-for pasts.
Mrs. Snow,
Yes, dear.
there's something I must tell you and the Reverend.
Well, of course, Eric. What is it?
You see, Jenny has not had a very happy past.
Oh?
And talking about it or about something that might strongly remind her of it, she's very impressionable.
Is there something wrong, Eric?
No, not really. You see, she lost her parents many years ago in a very tragic way. And talking about unhappy past only, she's very impressionable. See, I want her to be happy, Mrs. Snow.
Of course you do, and so do we all. Now, how did she lose them? Well, look, I'm not prying, dear. It's just that Mr. Snow and I can help better if we know something about it.
They drowned in an accident. Jenny saw it all.
Who's Mr. Mauer?
Mr. Mauer? Why, he's a lawyer in town.
I thought no one knew we were coming. You said you heard from Mr. Mauer?
Why, Eric wrote him. He takes care of the estate, or what's left of it.
Oh, that's right. Eric has to see him tomorrow.
Well, Eric's co-executor of the estate along with Mr. Mauer. You see, Marion's death was so sudden that, well, all that was left to Eric was the house and these grounds. Mr. Mauer told me that Eric had found someone very sweet and very kind, and with whom he was very much in love. He didn't say enough.
How did Marion die?
Didn't Eric tell you?
I think the subject's rather painful to him. I don't like to make him talk about it. Would you mind telling me? I'd like to know.
It was a rainy day. She and Mickey had been working up there in the greenhouse. She left him to go back to the house for a few minutes. The way we pieced it together after the accident is that while she was coming down this path, apparently it began to rain very hard. She must have run along here. We don't know, of course, what happened then. Perhaps she slipped on a leaf. Base of her skull was smashed. It was thought that she hit her head on the edge of the cement wall where we're sitting. And she fell in there. She died in the water. That's where Eric found her 10 minutes later.
Marion, you said, Mickey, wait here. I'm going down to the house for just a minute. Wait here, Mickey, you said, and then you went away in the rain, and you didn't come back to play. Man, why did you...
And don't forget that you and Eric are coming for lunch day after tomorrow.
We'll do better than that. We'll come to church on Sunday as well.
Oh, getting Eric to church is like moving a mountain.
He'll come.
Come along, my dear. It's getting late.
Eric, thank you very much for bringing Jenny into our lives.
Thank you for the dinner.
It was a pleasure. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Edward, did you know that Jenny's very wealthy?
Oh, yes. Mr. Mauer told me in town today.
Well, she's not at all like Marion, you know. She's so gentle and timid, as if she were afraid of something.
I knew you'd like my friends, dear. Hey, what's this? Huh?
Just happy, that's all.
Come.
So happy.
Come on. How are the cots?
Fine.
What are you reading?
Something Mrs. Snow sent over.
Interesting.
It's called Beast in the Jungle. It's all about a man who waited all of his life for something great, wonderful to happen to him. He had only one good friend. It's a woman whom he confided. And she died. At her grave, he suddenly realized that she was the great and wonderful thing that he'd waited for all of his life. But it was too late then. His memories, like a beast in the jungle, rise up out of the past, overwhelm him.
Oh, poor fellow. He doesn't know what he missed.
This is Livingston, and you're watching Creature Features. Not now. Stay tuned. This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
Welcome back to the show, friends at home. John had to step away for a moment. You know, I think he's got to feed the collie. I heard it barking earlier, so I think it was hungry, because they bark when they're hungry. Or when Timmy falls down the well. Anyways, we're going to read some letters because they're fun to read, and you guys send them to us, and it'd be wrong if we did not, right? Right?
Right.
Right. How are you, Miss Tangella, and your octopi? You know, she loves these things. They're like fluffy. She never holds real ones that are like slimy. I like the slimy ones. They're delicious. All right, this first letter does not say where it's from, but it's got a photo of an automobile. It's a nice automobile.
Silver Cloud.
A Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud, I would say. These are nice cars. I used to have one, but I got rid of it because there was not enough room for 5 friends. All right, let's see. He goes, this is James Rucker from Maple Heights, Ohio. I love watching your show on YouTube and the movies that you play. I like Mr. Livingston, and I love Tangella. The perfect woman because she don't talk. If I may correct you, she speaks quite a bit. She just doesn't speak to you. Keep up the great work and the great movies and great guests you have on your show. Thank you again. Great job, James Rucker. Well, thanks for writing, James. I hope everything's nice in Maple Heights, Ohio. Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful place. All right, what do you got for me next, sir?
An actual letter.
An actual letter. This is from, oh, you read this one already. B. Weissenberg, I believe. We'll find out on the inside. Oh, he's got very nice handwriting.
It's typed, I believe.
That's the type of handwriting I like. All right, Bruce Weissenberger, a faithful viewer and fan from Antioch, California. I like Antioch, you know why? Because the end of the word has CH instead of a K. It's a nice way to spell Ock.
Oh.
All right, dear Vince, Tangella, and Livingston, I look forward to your show each week. In addition to your collection of rarely seen horror movies, you jest, I'm sure, you have the most outstanding, interesting, and diverse selection of guests. That we do, right? On those rare occasions when the movie is a bit less than entertaining, I still stay with you to watch your guest interviews, hear you read your mail, and watch the three of you interact. I recently attended the East Bay Comic Con specifically to take an opportunity to meet the Creature Features family. That was a fun event.
It was.
You were there, East Bay Comic Con. I'd never attended such an event and did not know exactly what to expect. I suppose I expected to be shuffled along as if on a conveyor belt, given only seconds to realize my quest to meet the three of you in person. I was pleasantly surprised to find quite the opposite. You were all so gracious with your time and made me feel at ease. I was truly a distinct pleasure to finally meet you all in person. Well, I heard you always in the loo. You spent half the convention in the loo.
Perhaps.
He does that to hide. He does not have any bowel issues. He just needs to get away from the crowd now and then. Miss Tangella, the lovely enchantress, was on her best behavior, exhibiting her myriad fine-honed skills of communication by expression that so endear her to the fans of Creature Features. The ever-present Livingston was stoic, yet quite welcoming. Clearly he is a consummate gentleman's gentleman, but he also has an appeal all his own. He may deny it, but I know he has a very kind heart as well. Vince, you were very genial and humorous as always, but your casual and friendly approach made we who sought you out feel as though we were meeting a long-time good friend. It was a wonderful time, and I will always remember fondly. Most importantly, you have all succeeded in the enormous task of taking the reins of the beloved institution that is Creature Features and bringing honor to yourselves, that institution, and the standards set by all those that come before you in the coveted role as hosts of Creature Features. I wish you all the best and a long and successful future with the show. Yours respectfully and fondly, Bruce Weissenberg. Well, thank you, Bruce. That was a very long-winded and wonderful letter, and, you know, I'll read the long-winded, wonderful ones because they're wonderful. All right, so what do we got next, Mr. Livingston? More mail, I presume?
Yeah.
All right. Trade you. Tangella, I think you have to stop feeding that thing. All right, this another long one. Is this long letter night?
It appears to be.
None of these have Rolls Royces on them, but that's all right. All right, here we go. This is from Norman Ramsbottom in New Berlin, Wisconsin. We've never heard from this place before.
Never.
This is a new thing. Dear Crowhaven Productions, this is not for me. Oh, it's one of those. All right, I request that you cease and desist from producing the program Creature Features. Your host claims it's a family show, but it's nothing of the kind. As John 3:8 states, the one who does what is sinful is the devil. Your host and the company he keeps has a background in rock music, better known as the Symphony of Sin, and now represents horror movies to a television audience. The Symphony of Sin, that would be a great name for a song.
Or a band.
Or a band. Thank you. I'm getting something out of this letter. All right, this is in no way what encompasses family entertainment. I'm sure your company can do better than this, but if not, I shall be writing a strongly worded letter to my congressman on this matter. I hope you'll take the high road and cancel this show. I'm sure all of the families affected by this despicable show will forgive you your blasphemy in creating it, because as told in Matthew 6:11, for if you forgive others their trespass, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. Well, Norman Ramsbottom, You know, I don't know how to respond to this letter, but I can tell you it was Matthew 6:12 and not 6:11, and it was about forgiveness being a two-way street. So I forgive you for writing that letter. All right, is that it?
That's it.
Last note. All right, if you want to send us a letter by email, send it to the address you see down here, or if you'd like to send something in the regular post, send it to the address you see here. We'll be right back with Jon Provost, but first let's get back to the Screaming Skull.
Eric?
Lily pad?
I don't think Mickey looks for her in the pond.
Jenny, now stop it.
I can't help it, Eric. That bad feeling's come back.
I forbid you to talk about it.
She looked like that, Eric. My mother looked like that.
Jenny.
I can't help it, Eric.
Darling, you're just talking yourself into those same old fears.
I've got to talk about it, Eric. I have to talk about
I
it.
forbid you to talk about it now.
What? Just that with you beside me, I'm alive again. I don't want to be sick anymore.
Honey, look. Now, you mustn't go on thinking like this. Besides, how could a very poorly done self-portrait upset you so much?
I know it's only my own fear. It's my own guilt that I can't get away from. Eric, I'm sorry.
Oh, I want you to listen to me. And I want you to believe me. Now, you were sick once, yes, but you were cured. Mickey caused this. You may as well know. He does look for Marion night after night down by that pond. And he probably comes here afterwards. I'm going to speak to Mickey in the morning. Now, don't you see? How simply it's all explained away?
But if I also heard a scream, Eric, before when I went to the hospital, I was hearing things. I'm hearing them again.
What did you hear?
It was a high, strange scream.
High, strange scream. Like a peacock's cry?
What's that sound like?
Come here. sound like that? You see, it's all very, very real.
Such a fool.
You feeling better now?
Yes.
Night. We won't be bothered with any of Mickey's nightly visits anymore. I've forbidden him to come into the house.
I was just nervous last night. I wish you wouldn't take it out on Mickey.
Now, he's a child. Must be disciplined.
I'd like him to feel I'm his friend.
Why don't you do some gardening with him while I'm in town? If he sees you're interested, you win him over quickly enough.
Wait a minute. I need a list of staples mostly.
Are you sure you don't want to come in with me?
You get more done without me.
Got to see about the lights, the phone, the bank, and the warehouse people about that furniture. You know, that cop's just about broken my back.
Don't forget to see Mr. Mauer.
I have to see him this evening. It's a bore, but I'll have to see him.
Will you be home in time for dinner? I'll wait for you.
Now, if I'm not, don't you worry, darling. Getting out of Mauer's clutches sometimes requires an act of God. I love you.
Hello, Mickey. Oh, look out. You almost cut him. It's a handsome one, isn't he? So cuddly and warm. When I was a little girl, I used to want to be a caterpillar. So I was a very little girl. Here you go. Marion must have loved her gardens. We'll keep them lovely for her always. You know what I'd like to do, Mickey? I'd like to pick some of the nicest flowers and take them to her. Would you like that?
Yes.
Eric told me she was near here. Would you show me where? Is that all right, Mickey? I'm sure it was a great loss to all of you, Mickey.
She cries
Cries?
in the night.
Dead people don't cry, Mickey.
I heard her.
Heard her? Mickey?
advertising for the show was provided by Restoration Hair in Santa Rosa.
Welcome back, friends at home. We are still watching The Screaming Skull with the screaming Jon Provost. He doesn't scream.
No, only when somebody tries to push me down a well.
Or if you have to scream for the dog. Like,
Yes, that
you
works.
come back with that thing loudly, right?
I guess
Maybe.
so.
I don't know. Anyways, this film, so a bit of trivia about this film. Every actor was paid the same for doing this film, and it was $1,000.
Wow.
Right. So I had a question for you. You were doing Lassie about the same time this film was being made.
Correct. I was,
And
yes.
So if you got paid $1,000 in 1950s money, would that be good?
Well, it would depend how long the movie took to make.
Of course.
So
I mean, that's not
it,
good for
it would all
year's
be
worth of work.
it would all be relative.
But let's say it only took a week to make the film. Would that be
then
good?
that would be good. I
That
would
be
think.
good money.
Yeah,
That'd be
that
like
would
$1
be
million
good.
today, right?
That would be. That was more than I got. So yeah, that would be
Right.
good.
And you were busy. You were shooting how many episodes a week?
Well, we did. It took 3.5 days to do 1 half-hour episode.
Right.
We worked 9 months out of the year, 5 days a week, 10 hours a day.
So 3.5 days, you would have to do 2 episodes a week.
Just about. And that's just the filming. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the cutting and the mixing and all that stuff.
So did you ever have like a day off?
Well, the weekends.
The weekend?
But then on the weekends, they weren't really off because I was off in a parade somewhere with Lassie.
Oh, they were working
yeah.
you.
We were promoting the show.
Oh my goodness!
So we
Did
were
they
always
use
doing
the actual
stuff.
dog from the show to do these?
Sometimes. Well, if I had Lassie with me, it was the real Lassie, or
Right.
it would just be me by myself, or sometimes Lassie by him herself.
You know, I noticed in all the Lassies, the bark of the dog sounds exactly the same.
I think that was probably recorded from the original Lassie. And you know, in the series when Lassie would whine,
Right.
that was all added later. Lassie
course.
never did that on the set.
Right.
Yeah, they added that in.
Oh, how
So,
interesting.
yeah. And about this movie also, the guy, the gardener, I think.
Yes.
He was the director.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So look at that.
Now, you know, it's kind of nice when like somebody behind the camera does a cameo.
This is true. Now, since he was also an actor, did he get paid $1,000?
Oh, I don't
Hey.
know. I think maybe he got 2,000 because he directed as well.
Well, that's what I mean. He was
had to
getting
direct
2
himself.
checks. He was
No,
getting 2 checks.
I bet he had to say, "Hey, Steve, cut. You did it wrong," to himself into a mirror, right?
There you go.
You're directing. I could never direct myself.
I think it would be very difficult.
I'd feel like a
Very.
lunatic.
There's a lot of directors are doing that. A lot of actors are doing that now, making movies, directing, writing, and starring
I
in them.
suppose he can do that. Right.
Be very hard.
It's the
Very
technology that
difficult.
allows it.
Yes, but you can't see yourself when you're doing it. Really.
No, I think they've got like a special eyepiece that they wear as they act that shows them what's in the camera.
Invisible.
If it doesn't exist, I shall invent it. I'll get a patent on it.
I'll help you.
I will. Yes, it'll be good. All right, shall we get back to the film?
Sounds good.
Back to The Screaming Skull. We'll be back soon. Don't go away.
I don't think he quite expects she's gone. She cries. She cries in the night. I think he expects her to show up one of these mornings.
She died in the water. The base of her skull was smashed.
She didn't want to die.
She died in the water.
Hello, this is David Danoff. I'm from Santa Rosa, California. I'm watching your show right now, and I love it. I love Angelica. Is that her name? And Livingston. And I feel your show is great, and I enjoy watching it. Bye-bye.
Portions of Creature Features are brought to you by the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. Explore the mystery at winchestermysteryhouse.com.
The Screaming Skull, the Screaming Skull, the Screaming Skull. But you know what, Jon Provost, former Timmy from Lassie, I don't think this movie should be called The Screaming Skull, because the skull is not screaming, it's the woman screaming, so it should be called The Screaming Woman.
Well, this is true, but there was a movie made during the 70s called The Screaming Woman.
Oh, that's right. That was a TV movie. That was like an ABC TV movie. I saw a tape of it. No, that's a wonderful film. All right, so I guess
Better
that's why
than this.
they couldn't call it that, because they knew in like 15 years they were going to make another movie called The Screaming Woman, so they had to call this The Screaming Skull. You know, I was going to study law, and I regret not doing it.
But it's probably a good idea.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about you. You've been doing events. Tell us about this thing you did.
Yeah, I just did an event in the town of Sonoma.
The actual town of Sonoma.
Yes, in the legendary Sebastiani Theater.
Oh, we know this place.
Gorgeous place. Yes. And it was an evening with Jon Provost. And
was this like a winner date with Jon Provost type thing?
No, not quite. Not quite. We did a video presentation, and everybody remembers Lassie, but I did a lot of things before Lassie and after Lassie,
of course.
And so it's all about that. And the critic Jan Wall interviewed me, and after the video, and we did that, and then the audience got involved, and there was a lot of great people and a lot of great. It's crazy because a lot of times people ask me the same questions over and over, and this time, we got new questions, and everybody had a great time.
Nice,
I think, yeah,
nice.
It was a lot of fun. It was real different.
I have a question for you, and you've probably heard this one as well. Do you get tired of talking about Lassie?
No, and you know why? Come on, nobody has ever come up to me, Vincent, and said I hated Lassie.
No,
they haven't, because Lassie was. Well, if somebody did say that, I think something might be wrong with them.
You know what I bet you hear? I bet you hear, I loved your Lassie, but I didn't like the one in like 1968 or something like that.
This is true because, yes, there were different versions of Lassie before I was on the show. Tommy Reddick did the show for 3 years. I did it for 7. Then Lassie was a forest ranger and then by himself and blah, blah, blah.
But you were the longest running companion to Lassie, weren't you?
Yes, but it just depends what people grew up with. And that's what they remember.
That makes sense.
So.
Right. Yeah. We get the same thing with Creature Features. We get people who are like from the Wilkins age, and they say, oh, I really like,
that's
it from
a
1971.
Perfect example.
And then we have the John Stanley contingency who say, oh, I never saw Bob Wilkins, but John Stanley was wonderful. So
there you go.
It's the administration. All right, what do you think? Should we get back to this film?
I think we should.
It's a Screaming Skull film that has a screaming woman. All right, off we go. Back to the film. You guys stay with us. Soon.
Jenny, honey. It's all right, darling. It's all right. I'm right here. I'm right here. Just lie back. That's right. Just lie back. It's all right.
Eric, when you found me, what else was there?
What do you mean, what else?
A skull?
Jenny.
I know there was no skull.
Of course not.
Mickey says Marion cries at night.
Why, that childish, stupid...
Don't blame them. We both hear the peacocks. He, out of his love for Marion, wishes the cry to be from her. I, out of my sickness.
Now, darling, we've been all through that nonsense last night.
Don't you see? I've never imagined seeing these things before. To just stand there and see it. Have it turn out to be nothing. Eric? I want you to call Dr. Ann tomorrow in New York. I want you to take me back.
No, Jenny. Now, it may sound selfish, but don't you see, having you to love, I'm happy too. I don't want to lose that. Now, in the morning, Mr. Snow will be here, and we'll tell him. He's very comforting. And I think he'll agree with me.
About what?
I think it's Mickey. You see, he hated me from the first. Marion was his friend, and when I married her, he thought I was taking her away from him. And now that she's dead, taken away from him forever, I suppose in that childish mind of his, I'm responsible for that. And now, because you're my wife, and in Marion's house, he hates you too.
I don't think Mickey's responsible. He's not quick enough or clever enough.
And who?
Myself. It's all in my own mind.
We do need somebody else, darling. We need somebody outside of the confusions of our love for each other. Now, the Reverend Snow will be here in the morning.
Who's in there?
Well, this much is real anyway. Look here, Jenny. You see, this is how you gouged your hand. You say you threw the skull down here where Eric is looking?
Yes.
Did you find anything, Eric?
Nothing yet.
Surely, Jenny, you must agree with me that anything as fragile as a skull would have been smashed to bits down there. And Eric has found nothing. And to assume that the skull would move of its own, all the way from there to the driveway door. Now, Jenny, there's no reason for that.
Don't you see, I agree with you. Did Eric tell you I spent over a year in a sanitarium?
Oh, Eric told Mrs. Snow that you were very impressionable, but that's all. I know lots of people needing a rest go to sanitariums.
This wasn't quite that kind of sanitarium. You see, I grew up loving my father and hating my mother. Well, she never knew it. Something I kept to myself. She was very beautiful. Very gay, like her. Very much. And I knew she resented that I was not more like her. I used to lie awake at night and wish she were dead.
Well, that isn't very unusual. I understand many children go through such a period.
I was no longer a child. And one day, I got my wish. They were both drowned. I can still hear her scream. I was all alone on the little beach. And all I could see was the overturned boat on the top of the waves. And I kept trying to reach them. And the waves kept throwing me back. And then I could hear her cries no more. And then hours later, the men came and searched for the bodies. They were never found. That's when this bad feeling started, this feeling that if I'd really wanted to, I could have saved them, but I didn't. That I really killed them.
No, Jenny. You You tried your very best.
Did. But thinking, begging, praying couldn't make this feeling go away. That's when they took me to the hospital. They told me I was cured.
Jenny.
They told me I was cured.
Mickey? Mickey!
You go on. I'll be there in time for lunch.
Well, where do you think he's gone off to, Eric?
Who knows about Mickey? He might be hiding.
You looked at Marion's grave?
Portions of this program are brought to you by Micromat, making products that keep your Macintosh running at its best.
Mickey? Mickey! Mickey! Mickey? Mickey! Mickey!
Eric, did you find him?
No. Where's Jenny?
She's with Mrs. Snow on the patio. Eric, I think I should tell you that Jenny has confided in me about the sanitarium.
Oh. Does your wife know? I told her Jenny was impressionable, but not that.
I haven't said a word to her.
Mr. Snow, you can do both Jenny and me a great favor by forgetting she ever told you that.
But, Eric, if it helps explain...
It explains nothing.
If I were you, Eric, I'd take her away. If she's so impressionable and that house frightens her so much, why subject her to it?
Look, I can't do a thing like that. It'd be the worst thing for her. Mr. Snow, it would be admitting she was sick again. I want her to be happy. We'll stay here.
Perhaps you know best, Eric.
See, I've got a simple and old-fashioned piece of philosophy. The only cure for her fear is to teach her she's loved. I mean, really loved. And I love her so much.
God bless you for that, Eric. She's a very fortunate woman having someone like you to care for her.
Be night soon.
Oh, Jenny, Jenny.
I'm sorry.
Darling, you've got to believe it will not happen again. Ever. Mickey? Mickey!
Eric. Eric!
What are you going to do with that skull?
Stop it. It wasn't his
Where did you
fault.
get it?
Leave him alone.
I'll take care of this, Jenny. Now, I know you don't like me, Mickey. I know you do anything to get us to leave here. This idiotic attempt to scare us as if we were children. It was you, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
No, not me. Not me.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Come on.
I wish you'd apologize to him. You know as well as I do it's not his fault. It's all in my own mind.
Jenny, I'm going to do something. And you're going to help me do it.
What's that?
That portrait upstairs. It reminds me of your mother.
Yes.
You were fine until you saw it. Now it has you all preoccupied with memories of the past. We're going to burn it.
It's precious to you, Eric.
The picture means nothing to me. I want you to be happy. We can't be until this fear is out of our lives. All right, Jenny. Go on, Jenny.
Let's go back to the house.
It's only the peacocks.
Fire's almost out.
Yes. We can't let those ashes stand overnight. And the brush in these hills are a regular tinderbox. You want to help me? Now, you feeling better?
It's as if I destroyed her with my own hands. She'll come back, Eric. She'll come back.
Darling, if you go on talking that way, you destroy the whole purpose. Now, the thing is out of the house, and it's over. You just give it half a chance, and you'll begin to forget it. And if you'll just spread those ashes out a little for me, I'll get the water to it. That's it. What is it, darling?
The skull! It's the skull!
Darling, there's no skull there. There's no skull there, darling. There is no skull there, Jenny. Darling, there's no skull there. There's no skull.
Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
So, John, I like the location where this film was made.
Yes, that was the Huntington Hartford Estate in Los Angeles.
It sounds
and
fancy.
I believe it took them 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
To film this, yes.
To make this film at Huntington Hartford Estate.
States, yes.
It sounds like a nice place. I wonder if they actually have the statue with the woman's face on it. The creepy one. No, I think it breaks at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm giving away spoilers. I do that sometimes. All right, well, speaking of houses, you were telling me during the break, famous things afoot with the former Provost home.
A house that I grew up in when I started Lassie when I was 7. I moved into the house when I was, I think, about 3 and left when I was 9. It was about 6 years. It was in Pomona, which is in San Bernardino, southeast of Los Angeles.
Right.
And it was an old farmhouse, 2-story, that was surrounded by 20 acres of orange groves.
Oranges. So you had like all these free oranges when you were young.
Well, they didn't belong to us.
Oh.
But yeah, we had all the oranges we wanted.
Right.
But then I got Lassie when I was 7, and we lived there a couple more years. And it was a very, very long commute. So by the time we moved, 6 years later, there was only 1 acre of oranges left, and the rest was all subdivision. So we moved into the city, and long story short, this house now is a very, very famous house. I said it was an old farmhouse, 2-story. The man that built it was the original banker, and his wife liked Victorian, and he liked California craftsmen.
I like Victorian.
I see.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what he did was he built the house half Victorian and half craftsman. So instead of a craftsman or a Victorian, it's a craftorian. Well,
That's insane.
Well, it's very unique. So the man that owns it now put a lot of time and money into restoring it into its original grandeur, as it were, and they've got it registered now as a unique home in California.
Right.
But it was also dedicated as the Lassie House because it is.
There's a Lassie house.
Yes, because it was, excuse me, always known that I lived there, and when I started Lassie, and I had a Lassie puppy that lived with me there, so there was a collie.
How wonderful!
So we were invited down for the dedication, and out in front there's this very elaborate fake well. Yes, with
a well.
Yeah, the well that I never fell into.
And if you look it down, you can see a tiny Timmy at the bottom, right?
Well, it's upside down, a butt with 2 legs sticking up.
Right, that's the way you want it to be, with Lassie balking at it.
Yeah, so no, and it's really a really neat place. And I guess if people just Google the Lassie House in Pomona, California, it'll come up and you'll see photos of it.
And so this is like a fabulous thing now, and I bet you wish you lived in it like when it was like restored, right?
Well, something very bad happened there when I was young. It's where I found out there was no Santa.
Oh, and you were how old?
I was about 4.
4.
My brother and sister, who were older, woke me up Christmas Eve, had me come downstairs.
Oh,
they said,
no.
Santa's down there. And of course, we went downstairs, and in front of the Christmas tree, in front of the fire, was Mom and Dad putting the presents, and my brother and sister laughed, and I cried, just like this movie.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
You know, we're supposed to end these segments on a high note.
Okay.
You're bringing a tear to my eye.
No. Oh, yes.
Right.
We can't wait.
Well, let's go back to a happy topic, this movie, and get some more laughs, right? We're going to wrap it up, and then soon we'll be back, and we'll find out what John's doing next. And Tangela might even pop out for a moment. So you guys stay with us, you stay with us, and I'm stuck here, so.
You going to be able to catch a plane tonight?
When we get into town, I will call Mr. Maurer. He'll arrange a midnight plane.
Thought there'd be more time. Time for so many wonderful things.
It's going to be all right.
Of course.
It's just me.
It's going to be all right.
Good evening, my dear. Mrs. Snow's hens thought you might like some fresh eggs for your breakfast in the morning. Hello, Eric.
This is a surprise.
Those hens labored mightily, as you can see.
Fine, I'll take them.
You'll excuse me, dear. What is it, Eric?
I've got to take Jenny away. That hospital she was in before.
It happened again?
I thought it would help her if we got rid of that portrait. You know the one.
Yes.
Well, we burned it. She saw a skull in the ashes.
You were there?
I saw nothing, of course.
Of course.
And I thought it was Mickey. But when I was there myself and I saw her... Mr. Snow, there's something I've never told you. I've never told anybody. But when Jenny was put away in that hospital, she tried to do away with herself. I'm terribly afraid.
You think she might try it again?
I know she will. Unless I get her back to that hospital.
When are you going?
Tonight.
We shall miss you. Mrs. Snow and I have grown very fond of Jenny.
Yes, and she of you.
I don't suppose you'll be coming back here again, Eric?
No. Never.
I'll miss him and his wife. He's very kind.
Yes?
When I said goodbye to him just now, he tried to talk me out of what I saw.
How?
He said he thought the skull was real. He's going to bring some men in the morning to search the estate.
Where?
Everywhere. He was just talking, trying to be kind.
I suppose.
I'll go upstairs and pack. You want to come with me?
I'll be up in a minute.
You saw me put it in the pond. You must have. Where is it?
I don't know. Don't know.
Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
Where
is it?
I don't know.
Tell me the truth. You took it. Tell me. Tell me.
Didn't take it. Didn't take it.
Who? Who?
Not me. Not me.
Who?
Marion. Marion took it. Marion took it.
You and your Marion.
This is Livingston, and you're watching Creature Features. Not now. Stay tuned. Hairstyling for the show was provided by Restoration Hair in Santa Rosa.
Edward, in the name of heaven.
Mickey, where did you find this?
Pond?
Well, who put it there?
He did?
Eric?
He did.
Then there was a skull. But Eric said that he didn't see it when Jenny saw it.
I know.
Oh, but why should Eric lie like that?
Mickey, those other times with the skull, did you do it?
No.
Mickey, you've never lied to me before. Lying is a sin. You understand that? You must not lie to me now. Did you do it, Mickey, all those other times?
No.
I simply do not understand that. If it wasn't Mickey.
And it wasn't her imagination.
But why would Eric do such a thing?
I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, what do you think we should do about it?
We're going back there, to that house.
Right.
Mickey? Mickey? Eric and I are leaving, Mickey. I'd like to say goodbye. I'd like to leave as your friend, Mickey. Mickey? Mickey?
Jenny, are you all right? Oh, Jenny.
Eric tried.
Shh. Oh,
Where is Eric?
Don't.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll find him.
It's all right. Edward, now be careful. Shh. It's all right, darling. Oh, it's all right. Oh, it's all right. Don't cry. Come on.
Eric! Eric! Please answer me! Eric! Eric! Eric, where are you? Eric! Eric! Eric.
Why did he do it?
Your money. The question is now, did Marion die in an accident? I suppose we'll never know.
They're gone. Rest.
And that brings the curtain down on The Screaming Skull. Another gaslighting film.
That's a great word. And it worked.
It's not a
it
great
worked.
thing to do
They
to
did
another
it.
human being.
He did it
You know,
to her.
She likes gaslighting films.
Yeah, he did it to her,
She
but
likes
then look what happened to
gaslighting
him.
people. That's the thing. She's like a gaslight girl. She's gassy in that sense. Gaslight.
Okay.
I don't know. All right, so, okay, film. I think the gardener inherited the Mercedes SL.
That was gonna. Yeah. Who got?
That would make sense.
Who got the car?
That should be it. All right, Jon Provost, what are you up to next?
Well, how about the San Jose Comic Con?
San Jose, Silicon Valley Comic Con. Maybe
yes,
we might
yeah.
see you up on that marquee. We're working on getting ourselves on that too. This should
I
be fun.
remember seeing you there before.
She's simply recreating the way the film ended for you.
Yeah, but it was
Just in
that
case
was
you
bad
missed
enough.
it. No.
Okay,
she's,
thank you. Thank
she's, you know, the thing about her, she only does this to people that she love-hates, right? She would not do it if she strictly hated you. It's only because she love-hates you. So it's a thing.
It really doesn't help.
All right, so you're doing that. What else are you doing?
I've totally, well, okay. The car's leaking oil a little bit.
Your car? Automobile?
Yeah, and the hot water
Go
heater,
get it
you
fixed.
know, I mean, I just kind of put this stuff off.
Right. The hot water heater in the home, the new home.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
you should get it replaced
whoa,
with.
no,
They
well,
have the new tankless kind.
not the one down the road.
Oh, which
that
one?
That hasn't closed escrow. We're not there yet.
Oh.
I'm talking about the home.
The house, the home where
Yeah.
you live. All right, so you need to get the tankless kind. I just discovered this. They have water heaters with no tank.
Okay, I can't.
Is she irritating you?
Yeah, I really can't
No, she
think about
irritates
that.
me as well. So
Okay,
get
thank
the tankless kinds. And
Right. They have
you'll-
those in
You'll
Europe.
save electricity and gas.
Well, I'm all for green.
Well, it's not so much that it's green; it's the green money that you want to, like, save the green part, right?
I guess.
Now, this is a new skull for her, so I think this is half to irritate you and half to show off her new skull.
But-
Just compliment the skull, and I think she'll stop with the skull. Just say something nice about
Oh,
it.
what a nice skull. Oh, lovely. Beautiful teeth. Did you see the
that's
teeth
all
on
she
that
wanted.
thing?
Yeah. No,
Wow.
you know,
Like,
I
it
told her
reminds
that-
me of my dog.
I told her it's a vampire skull, but it's only half vampire skull because it's missing the lower jaw.
Well, it's still deadly.
Right. All right, so that's it. New water heater, maybe
Yeah.
some conventions coming up,
Yes.
No writing of books, anything like that?
Well, yes. The well thing, I'm done with that. Never did happen. It was the title of my first book, my autobiography. The second, and I like to cook.
So how could we find out more about you to buy one of these books?
I have a website.
Tell me.
JonProvost.com.
JonProvost.com.
Everything's there, what I'm doing, where I've been, they can write to me, and there's stuff there.
They can write directly to you. They can send you fan mail.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll read it
exactly.
like we do. That's
so
brilliant.
Well,
now that you're going to be so close, we can have you on more often, and you could come watch movies with us. And if we have a guest who flakes on us, we'll call you in, right?
Well, yes, if I'm there at the home, sure.
You'll be there for us. We trust you will.
I will definitely try, for sure.
Well, thank you for coming tonight. As far as you guys go, we're going to have another movie next week. I don't know what it is. They never tell me. So it's a surprise to you. It's a surprise to me. And the guest, I have no idea who it's going to be, but it'll be somebody fun. Almost as fun as John, I think. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Have a nice rest of the evening. We'll see you next week. So, John, we're going to have a housewarming party. Mm-hmm. You should let us come.
Oh, I'd love to invite you and Livingston, but, not her. Oh, definitely not her.